welcome to Epic Church Online. My name is Jessie. We are continuing our talk about fear today. Now, today we are talking specifically about opinions. Now, Peter, when he was on the boat with all his friends and Jesus was walking on the water to him, probably there was a lot of opinions about whether or not he should jump out of the boat and into the water. I'm sure there's been a couple on that boat that have been like, whoa, dude, I'm not too sure that you want to go out there. I'm not too sure that you can actually walk on water. You are God, dude. Yet Peter jumped out of the boat and onto the water. He kind of forgot about all those people behind him, what other people were thinking, what other people were saying. It didn't really matter if they thought he was a little crazy. He did it because he had faith. And when the men took their lame friend and they climbed up onto the roof and lowered him down to where Jesus was because there was such a huge crowd that they couldn't get in through the front door, I'm sure there was a few angry people in that crowd that said, hey, why are you getting a front row seat all of a sudden? Why are you cheating and not getting in through the front door? I'm sure there was a lot of opinions that day about the way they got their friend in to see Jesus. And when Jesus was standing there with the adulterous woman and the whole crowd was questioning him and about to throw stones at her, I'm sure there was a ton of opinions about what should be done to that lady. And Jesus, I'm sure there was a lot of pressure on Jesus about the right answer or the wrong answer. And there was just a lot of opinions floating around that day. And when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were to bow down to the idol that the king had made, and they chose not to bow down, well, the rest of the people all bowed. I bet you there was a few people whispering at them, or even yelling, bow down, bow down, bow down, you're going to die. There would have been a lot of pressure. There would have been the soldiers telling them to bow down. There would have been the people that are really hoping that they bow down, their friends hoping they would bow down, but they chose not to. They ignored those opinions. And when the 12 spies went into the land of Canaan, and 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, came back and said, yes, let's take the land. But 10 of the other spies said, no, we cannot do it. They were full of worry and fear, and the nation of Israel got full of worry and fear, and there was a lot of opinions that were totally negative. Joshua and Caleb forgot about those because they knew that God had said they were going to get that land, and they were going to live in that land. So they forgot about those opinions, and they didn't worry about those opinions, and they just trusted in what God had said. There are lots of times in the Bible that there are opinions that probably were stated in lots of people's ideas all over. And there's lots of examples for us to see of people that ignored that and just did what God told them to do. Now, fear, we've been talking about fear, comes in many, many, many forms. There's fears of spiders, there's fears of heights, there's fears of germs, there's fear of failure, there's fear of people, and there's fear of opinions. There's all kinds of fears. Now, my personal fear is chickens. Don't ask me why. But when I'm around a chicken or even a bird, my heart starts to flutter and I get a little panicky and I want to run away and hide or scream. And people sometimes have that same feeling. You might, I sometimes do, about what things we do. The things we do, what is someone going to think about that? Oh no, I have to make a choice. And there's people's opinions and we get a little panicky and we get a little flustered and we sometimes want to run away and hide if we have to make a choice, especially if it goes against the grain or if it's something that you know other people wouldn't choose to do. It's all fear. That's fear, and it's not good. Now, everyone has an opinion. We all know that. We all have opinions. We know everyone around us has opinions, and we're allowed opinions. That's how God made us. He made us free to have a choice. He gave us personality so that we like something. Some of us like to wear yellow. Some of us don't like to wear yellow. He made us all different. And some of us like to be outside. Some of us don't like to be outside. We're all free to make our own choices, and we're all ourselves. He made us all different. He didn't make us all the same. He didn't make a whole bunch of robots. He didn't make a whole bunch of clones. He made us different with our own personalities. He made us free to choose what we like and what we don't like. I'm not talking about judging people. I'm not talking about just being judges and saying, hey, what you're doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. I'm saying that we have our own opinions and we can have our own choices of what we like and what we don't like. We're not free to judge people, but we're free to like what we want. And we're free to do what we want. God doesn't want us judging. That's His duty. Today I'm talking about our personalities. We are free to live life the way we enjoy it. Not the way we think others want us to enjoy it. Not the way we think others think we should enjoy it. We're free to live it the way we want to. And when I was younger, I used to live in constant fear, and I was constantly worried and concerned about what others thought of me. I was concerned that they thought I was fat. I was concerned that they thought I made the wrong choice. I had to say the right thing. I was concerned if I were to make a mistake, I would totally beat myself up if I did make a mistake. And I was just constantly concerned about what everyone around me thought. I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to say anything. I was very quiet because I didn't want to say anything that sounded dumb. I just really cared about what other people thought. I was just living totally in fear all the time. I cared about everyone's opinions, and I didn't really have an opinion of who I was or who God thought of me and what He thought of me. I was just so worried about everyone around me. And then one day, through a series of unfortunate events, I realized that fear was a bad thing, and I was living in fear. Caring what somebody thought about me is a fear. Messing up is a fear. I was afraid to mess up. I was afraid to do the wrong thing. I was afraid if they didn't like me. I was afraid if I said the wrong thing and then they didn't like me. I was afraid to look silly. I was afraid to look dumb. I was afraid to be free. I wasn't free at all. And so one day I realized that living in fear, that kind of fear of opinions and people, is a bad thing. It's not from God. Every good and perfect gift is from God. It's not good and perfect to be afraid. It's not good and perfect to not be free to live the way God made you, who He made you to be. So it took a while, and I'm still doing it to this day, of just trusting God and knowing that He made me the way He wanted to make me. And I'm okay this way. And letting Him love on me and knowing He loves me even if I mess up, even if I'm silly, even if I say something dumb, if I am a little overweight, if I'm underweight. He loves me the way I am. And I'm still relying and trusting and learning that to this day. But I eventually got rid of that fear. And I'm free. And that's how He made us to be, free. I finally got a chance to learn who I was and who God made me to be, what I liked and what I didn't like. I was allowed to choose what I wanted and what I liked. And it was okay if someone else didn't agree with that. Or it's okay if someone else liked that thing that I don't like. Because all that matters is that the eternal God, the God that never ends, the God that created the sun, the God who created the galaxies, the Milky Way, He created me. And He made me unique. And that's all that matters, is His opinion about me. That's all that matters. And once we realize that the only opinion that matters in our lives is God, then we can be free. That's all that matters. John 8 verse 36 says, "Who the Son sets free is free indeed." Who the Son sets free is free indeed. Jesus set us free 2,000 years ago. When He died on that cross and He eradicated death, we got set free. We get to live for eternity with the eternal God. And all that matters is His opinion. We're only on this earth for a short time. It doesn't matter if so-and-so doesn't like to eat bacon and I do. That's their freedom to choose what they want, and that's my freedom to choose what I want. All that matters is that God loves me, and that I'm living my life the best I can for Him. And He loves me the way I am, whether I mess up in that or whether I don't. He loves me no matter what. I'm not going to choose to go and mess up on purpose because I love Him too. And when I love Him, I give my all to Him. But we are human and we do mess up. And know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the world sees us mess up. We get back up and we keep walking because the eternal God still loves us. His opinion is the only one that matters. And who the Son sets free is free indeed. So we are free from those judgments, from those opinions, from that fear. People sometimes aren't even judging us and we're afraid. We're afraid of what they think. We're free to live carefree of people's opinions. It doesn't matter, as I said, if we eat bacon or asparagus. It doesn't matter if we make our own baby wipes or we buy them. If we like to wear black only or if we love the rainbow. If we let our children climb up the slide or down the slide. It doesn't matter. If someone thinks you're doing it wrong, there's no right or wrong. We're free. We can make those own choices ourselves, and it doesn't matter because all that matters is God's opinion. He gave us the ability to parent our own way. He gave us the ability to make our own financial decisions, to live our lives the way that He gives us wisdom to live. And that might be different from the person next to us, and that's okay. They're living their life their way, and we're living our life our way. And it's between us and God, not us and them. God made us to live life and to enjoy it. We can't enjoy life when we're trying to live by everyone else's standards. We can't enjoy life when we're trying to do everything right that the world thinks is wrong. We can only enjoy life by living life the way we like to do it and the way God wants us to do it. And that's between Him and us. He gave us wisdom. He gave us our own gifts. He gave us our own unique way of doing things, and He gave us our own preferences. He made us unique. Just as much time as He spent on all the galaxies, He spent on us, making us special. He gives us special gifts. And we're called to do something different than the person next to us. Because if we're all called to do the same thing, we're not going to accomplish very much here on earth for Him. He made us unique. We're not all the same. And that's okay. It's okay if I am not called to go preaching on the streets. That's okay. That's not who God made me to be. We're all made to be different and unique. Proverbs 29 verse 25 says, "Fearing people is a dangerous trap, but trusting the Lord means safety." I like the Message version of this. It says, "The fear of human opinions disables. Trusting in God protects you from that." The fear of human opinion disables. When you fear what other people think, when you fear what they think, whether they think that what you're doing is right or wrong, when you fear their opinions, it disables you. It makes you not free to live the life that God made you to live, to enjoy the life God made you to enjoy, and to do what God has called you to do. God might have called you to do something completely different to than that person. And that person might think that what you're doing is wrong. And sometimes people do that. Sometimes people don't have this perspective. Sometimes people think, and even I have this issue sometimes, that your way is the only way. It's not. It's not. Your way is not the only way. My way is not the only way. There's other ways to do things. And when we get stuck and being afraid to live differently in the way God made us to live, then we don't walk in His perfect calling. We don't walk in what He's called us to do. The fear of human opinion disables us. It disables us from walking like that in God's call. Now people, they can fail. We're humans. We're not perfect. We're humans and we can fail. But God cannot fail. And people, they're not perfect. They're imperfect. But God is perfect. And people can lie and make mistakes, but God cannot lie. People's opinions and the way we live our lives, the little things, what we enjoy, the things that we do, the way we choose to live our lives, there's all room for error. There's room for imperfection. But God's ways, His ideas, His plans, they're pure perfection. And if His ways and His plans are pure perfection, then let's focus on His ways and His plans. Because they're the best way. There's room for error in this human world. When we keep looking at people about how we should live, there's room for error. But when we look at God, there's no room for error. We need to trust in what God says to us and be concerned only for what He tells us. Whether it's something crazy, if He asks Peter to jump out of the boat, forget about what the other people say and do it. Because that's what He's asked you to do, and His way is perfect. He cannot fail you. He cannot lie. So if He tells you to get out of the boat, then you need to get out of the boat and forget about what everyone says about, hey, you need a life jacket. Hey, you're going to drown. Hey, don't do that. You can't do it. That's not right. That goes against all the laws of the world. You can't walk on water, but with God you can. In this world you can't, but with God you can. If He tells you to jump out of the boat, you need to do it.